This video features Forsythia, a dragon OC of mine that I often use to represent me, How to Train Your Dragon Prince, in videos such as these where I do a lot of speaking. Hey y'all! Forsythia here, the one and only maker, creator, and maintainer of the growing YouTube channel, How to Train Your Dragon Prince. Which, holy shredder, has literally more than doubled since y'all showed up. I spent more than 4 years slowly gathering 2.6k subs. And then I present this little girl to the world, and y'all freaking responded. And now we are at 6.5. I am just so flattered that so many of you liked my little comic. So, without further ado, let's get into the info dump. There will be Exigence lore, frequently asked questions, current Fanart Collection, schedule plans for Chapter 2, and some sneak peeks if you stay till the end. Let's get to it. So, I think I mentioned it before in part 5, but the whole idea for this comic started very simply with me thinking about what I would look like as a ROTTMNT turtle. I've always had a soft spot for spotted turtles, pun intended. They're really small and cute, and I just love their bright little gold spots and neck stripe, and I figured that's probably what kind of turtle I would be. I am a detailed person, and it is not hard for my small ideas to become big projects, and this happens a lot. That is why I am artist. Once I knew I was a spotted turtle, I decided my name would be MJ, which is a lesser-known nickname that only my family really calls me sometimes. My first name starts with M, and my middle name starts with J, and the nickname has stuck since my birth. I figured that was probably better than just using my first name, especially if I were ever to post the design publicly. Oh, how little past me knew about how far this would go. Having been given a turtle species and a name, MJ was ready for a character design. It did not take me long to choose dark blues for her skin and shell colors and position plenty of little gold spots in various places around her body, as well as a matching gold neck stripe. I tried to keep the patterning unique compared to the Rise turtles, but also mimic their style in terms of shell and plastron, general shape, and the fact that their cartoon colors are much brighter than their turtle species really are in nature. That's why she's blue instead of black like spotted turtles are. I also saw a lot of black and white OCs from other artists, and I wanted to make MJ as unique as possible so as not to accidentally step on anyone's toes. That's another reason why I chose maroon as her bandana color. I haven't seen a ton of maroon around, but I did see a lot of yellow and green and pink and other more basic rainbow colors. It worked out well because maroon is a color mix between red and purple, like Raph and Donnie. So I made medium tails be a mix between Leo and Mikey's short and long tails. She represents each of her brothers in her bandana this way, however it's still her own color and style. At this point, I was lying awake at night thinking about how the 4 of them would find her, what the homecoming would look like, what her character would be like interacting with the 4 of them, and how she would bring out each of their soft sides. This is when I started working on writing out a backstory for her. It started pretty simple with just the homecoming arc, which is all of Chapter 1. Then I kept going, and kept going, and going, until I was to a point where I realized I could make this into a full story, with a beginning, middle, end, climax, resolution, all of it. It took me a while to figure out the end, but it finally came to me on a rainy, boring day at work where there was just this epiphany moment of like, oh, this can work! Artists out there, y'all get me. And by fall of 2023, the MJAU was fully scripted in my iPhone notes. I have had many questions that I hope to address here before I move into more lore. First of all, I just want to clarify something about this scene right here. Many assumed that I would start shipping MJ and Donnie because I put a little arrow shot heart next to him on this slide. Please, let me assure you, that is not the case. All of the relationships in this comic are platonic, which means not romantic, which means please no shipping. This little arrow shot heart was only meant to show you that even Donnie, who usually doesn't show that much emotion, got hit by how cute little MJ is. I didn't put arrow shot hearts for the rest of them because I figured their falls for MJ were a little more obvious, but I wanted to put that in for Donnie specifically just to show you how MJ was already getting him to show his soft side. As a brother. They all have sibling dynamics as usual. Now, the question I typically get the most is, when will you tell us MJ's backstory? And my answer is... soon. I do intend to spill every and all beans on this girl and her story. As I mentioned above, I have it all planned out already. Part of the plot is the mystery of where she came from, who mutated her, and why she has certain trauma. I promise, I'm not trying to be cruel, but if you can stick around for the rest of the story, it'll flow in a way that makes more sense than just giving you all the backstory in the beginning and leaving no plot for the end. Some have been asking about MJ's trauma as well, and while that is meant to be a mystery for the plot, I will just say you should pay attention to the things that she reacts to within Chapter 1 and the Homecoming arc. If she looks surprised or in awe, she's probably never experienced it before. This includes the soft blankets in her makeshift bed, pizza Oppie, getting picked up by Raph, etc. You will learn some more throughout Chapter 2 as well. Just keep paying attention to her facial expressions in certain situations or conversations. I know y'all are wondering who the heck these two were at the end of Part 8, and while I can't give you any direct spoilers, I will just slide you this little hint. Both voices are female. That is all. I've gotten many questions about what weapon MJ will receive and when she will receive it, and I have said to this that I do have it planned to reveal her weapon in time. I have also reminded people that she is 12 and hasn't been taught to speak or been well taken care of until now, so expecting her to be trained as a ninja first thing is a little less realistic than what I am going for. I've also stated that this comic is meant to be more of an adoptive family bonding story versus a yay new ninja story, if that makes sense. Another question I've been getting is, are you going to add Draxum or either of the Caseys meeting MJ? And the answer to that is probably not. Nothing against those side characters. They are awesome. I just wanted to simplify a bit for this project and mainly focus on the 4 with a little April and Splinter sprinkled in. The core fam, basically. Some people have asked if there are any rules to making fan art, and I've just said that any and all fan art is completely welcome, as long as you tag me or my channel so that I get the credit for MJ's character, and be sure to only include appropriate things within your fan art. For example, drawing MJ meeting your own OC is completely adorable and fine, but what I don't want to see is people drawing MJ with random weapons that they think she would have. Please don't draw her with any random weapons that I haven't introduced in the comic yet, so that we don't confuse people. As all of you know, Chapter 1 of the MJAU wrapped up just a little while ago and consisted of 8 parts. Another, Family, Bandana, April, Name, Pizza, Sleep, and Destiny. Most of these parts were named after a word that MJ learned within that part, with a couple exceptions like Another and Destiny. This chapter was structured in a cumulative fashion, where the end of one part led directly into the next with a timeline difference of only a few moments in between. Chapter 2, on the other hand, will have some longer as well as shorter gaps in between parts as we start to watch what life is like for the family after adding this new baby girl as a little sister. Even with this slightly more zoomed out view of this story, there will still be plot, and you guys will learn some key details in this chapter about MJ's history, alongside plenty large helpings of fluff. Seriously, I'm kind of afraid I might kill some of you with how fluffy the fluff is. Anyways, scheduling details. I decided to treat the MJAU like a webtoon, where I post 1 part a week and take breaks between larger chunks of content, aka chapters. I know it's a little bit of content to wait a whole week for. However, it spread out the posting time for me and gave me 2 months to get a head start on creating Chapter 2 while you guys were all beginning to enjoy Chapter 1. I feel like it would be more cruel to let you all watch the first chapter within a week and then have to wait 5 months for the next chapter of content. This way, the gap in between content is smaller, if that makes sense. And yes, I said 5 months. That is how long it took me to complete Chapter 1 before I began posting it. Just so you all get the picture, it usually takes me between 2 and 3 weeks to complete a part, depending on how long or detailed it is, as well as how busy my life gets during the creation time. I'm pretty particular about my art, and I want to make sure that it looks just right before I consider it done, so drawing does take plenty of time for me. I also like to add color to the characters, which usually doubles the creation time. Fun fact, I am an adult. I do have a job. a family, and a body to feed, and let sleep. So not every moment of my life gets devoted to turtle drawing. Also, life just happens sometimes, and within the past few months, I have had multiple medical issues to deal with, as well as a close family member's death. I do not say these things to make you feel sorry for me. However, please understand that I will not respond to every comment that asks me to create the next part now. Respectfully, that is not how this works. Do not fear. I hate it when people don't finish things, and I promise I am not one of those people. I am working on it when I can and at my own pace. And because of the careful time I am taking, you will see this comic in its full glory to a level of quality that is not rushed. Anyways, enough about me. Let me show you some of the best fan art that has already spawned for this comic. The very first piece was done by Ch2 who drew MJ with her own OC. This was super cute and won the gold star of being the very first fan art for MJ ever. Can I just say that I never expected this to be popular enough to receive fan art? Like, I know I've said this, but I thought there would just be a few hundred people following this story. The overwhelming response from you guys has been absolutely incredible, and the fact that there are multiple fan art pieces that I can put in this section of an info dump just blows my mind. Anyways, up next we have this piece from Emma the Art Kid, which is also an adorable OC crossover. I especially love the last slide. This piece of fan art makes me awe and giggle every time. There were also these little sketches from Fran Capybara on Instagram. Super cute, love the little expressions on the heads. BootyShaker9000 drew MJ on paper and colored her. I loved the style on this one. I truly couldn't hold in my laughter when I first saw this one. Pico the Silly literally just put MJ chillin' in a box. Create to Glorify made more MJ sketches in her style recently. I love the sleepy one in the top right corner. We chatted and decided it's probably Leo that she's leaning on, minus his markings. She drew this reaction for part 8 too. I crack up at the little bros conversation on the side every time. What a collection so far. Thank you to everyone who has contributed fan art to MJ so far, and I will be on the lookout for anyone else who wants to add more. Wow, for those who stayed this long, thank you so much. I am flattered that you can listen to me talk for so long. To reward you for lasting this long, here is a sneak peek at Chapter 2. Which is coming as soon as I finish it, which is an unknown time at the moment. Here's the inside scoop. Like I mentioned before, I was able to get a head start on creating Chapter 2 while Chapter 1 was being posted for the last couple months. By the time I was posting Part 8, I had finished drawing and coloring Parts 9 through 12, which is about halfway through Chapter 2. If we do a little math, it took me about 5 months to finish Chapter 1, so if I'm already halfway through Chapter 2, it shouldn't be more than 2 to 3 months-ish before I have it finished and ready for posting. We will see how life treats me between then and now, and if I can hold to that. But that's the hope. Here's a quick meme to describe my feelings while making Chapter 2 so far. In short, I cannot wait for y'all to see. I literally cry a little sometimes when I'm finishing a part because it gets me so emotional to see it coming together so well. I will warn you, I told my friends who know about this comic that I might kill somebody with how cute these parts are. I know I already die every time making them. Finally, for those who truly stuck it out to the end, here is a list of Chapter 2 part names. The little bandana marks where I am now, which is Part 12, Present. Please don't ask me to spoil what any of the names mean or what they are about, but you are absolutely free to guess. I'll continue to post updates on my Insta and Tumblr for where I'm at in creating Chapter 2, but otherwise, thank you so much for watching my MJAU info dump. I appreciate the love so much. Truly, your lovely comments make my day every time, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Thank you again, and see you all later. And yes, I said 5 months. That is how long it took me to complete Chapter 1 before I begin